So we've got an Emax ESC 12 amp, which has a battery eliminator circuit which provides 5 volts to the receiver. The 5 volts to the receiver goes on the red wire in the centre. The bottom wire, the brown one, is ground, and the top wire is yellow. Is the signal from the receiver to drive the motor. It's PWM signal or PPM signal, position modulation. Okay, so we have our battery plugged in, which on an XT60 connector, which is a 3-cell battery, into our ESC, which provides 5 volts from the battery eliminator to drive the receiver. The other side of the ESC is 3 wires, which drives the motor. The 3 wires are in line with each other like this, that in line, and the motor turns anti-clockwise. It's connected to channel 3 of the receiver, which is the throttle on the transmitter. We've also got a battery monitor circuit, which connects to the S bus on the receiver, onto the sense ones, and you find the ground side is the black wire, in this case, nearest to me, with the receiver facing up. Centre wire is the 5 volts to drive the battery monitor, which is obviously derived from the BEC, and then you've got the white wire, which is the S bus serial signal, which is taken out from which the battery monitor provides into the receiver, and then that is transmitted back to the transmitter and displays on the screen as an external sensor voltage. At the moment we've got it sensing one cell on this balance plug on the battery, and this is monitoring about 4.2 volts. That 4.2 volts then appears on the transmitter. That's as far as I've got so far. Right, so I've wired the power into the ESCs, these wires here, directly on, and soldered the wires directly onto the boards. Okay, run it this way. Okay, and then so these are all married up on here. Can't see very easily. I'm pulling it off again. I've also wired all the ESCs directly up to the motors. Now this one should go in clockwise, so I've got motor number 3 is set up to go in clockwise. If I move that a bit more into the centre, zoom it in a bit, this one is should go in clockwise with the blue, the red in the middle and the black at the back, with the capacitor recording at the front where the capacitor is. And this has got the motors wired directly on, soldered onto the ESC, so I've taken the original wires off. And that's the ESCs, that's these Emax 12 amp ones. So for counterclockwise we've got blue, black, red, but for clockwise we've got blue, red, black, as in this case. Right, so I've tidied up all the wiring now, heat shrunk all the heat shrink over the ESCs, shortened all the wiring. I've fitted the CC3D Revolution flight controller, so I shortened all the wiring. I've put it on Libri Pilot and updated the firmware to 16.03, I think it was, or 9. But there's a bit of a fun, it won't connect to Libri Pilot. The first time you need to power it from 5 volts external, not just from the USB the first time, or it just won't connect. It's not recognised in Linux, or it's not recognised in Windows. So the first time you need to put give it 5 volts. So I did that by connecting the battery and then powering it off the back from one of the ESCs, and then it connected to Libre Pilot, or Libre Pilot, however you pronounce it, and then it updated the firmware, and we ran through the configuration wizard. I configured it, connected the radio, calibrated the radio, and got the radio set up with the flight controller. Did a rough calibration on all the motors, ran the motors up, and basically it's functioning. And then I just tidied up all the wiring. So that's what we've got at the moment. The next stage is to put the top on, fit the camera at the front and the power to the camera and the video transmitter, which will go into the top of here, and then we need to put the GPS receiver on as well. So that's where we are so far, all fairly tidy, basically functioning. We just need to finish it off.